The Philippines just did the unthinkable. In a world where the name Serena Williams once defined tennis power, where giants like the US, Russia, and the Czech Republic dominate the court, no one thought a young girl from the Philippines, a country more famous for boxing and basketball than tennis, would force the entire WTA to redraw the power map. Her name is Alexandra Eala, just 19 years old. And here is what the international media is trying to understand. How can a girl from Manila, with no scandals, no PR stunts, no social media drama, defeat a former world number one? How did she become the first Filipina tennis player to break into the WTA Top 100? And more importantly, why are there mysterious photos of a young man always appearing in the VIP section at recent tournaments? You think she is just a random phenomenon? You're wrong. Alexandra Eala is not a phenomenon. She is a 10-year plan executed with iron discipline, blood, and sweat since she was 12 years old. But the story doesn't stop with victories on the court. This is about a teenager living like a 25-year-old professional athlete since age 12. This is about the girl Forbes Philippines called one to watch, who has contracts with Nike, Babolat, even Vogue Philippines, with an estimated total net worth of nearly $3 million. And at the 16th minute, we will reveal the identity of the man shaking up social media alongside Alexandra. But to understand that, you need to go back to Quezon City, Philippines, where the story began not with fame, but with the sweat of a mother, a former SEA Games athlete, and the iron discipline of a family that treats sports like a religion. Soft CTA. If you want to follow deep stories like this, not surface-level news, not 30-second highlights, then subscribe to the Pro Tennis 360 channel right now. We dive deep into the psychology, strategy, and real life of your favorite tennis stars. Now, let's go to the Philippines. Family and childhood. Sports as religion. Before becoming Southeast Asia's #1 hope on the tennis court, Alexandra Eala was just a little girl in Quezon City. But in her house, sports was not a hobby. It was a rule of life. Her mother, Rosemary Ritzmanoag Eala, is a SEA Games bronze medalist in swimming, a woman with military discipline and the mindset of an executive director. After leaving the pool, Ritz didn't choose to rest. She moved into the business world and became one of the most respected female senior executives in the Philippines. Her brother, Michael Miko Eala, is equally impressive. He is an excellent tennis player competing for Penn State University in the U.S. At home, Alexandra often witnessed him training to exhaustion, yet he would still smile and say, "1 hour of pain is better than a year of failure." Her grandfather, rarely mentioned, was the first to teach the 6-year-old girl how to hold a racket, how to greet people when entering the court, and even how to nod when losing a point. Humble in victory, calm in defeat. That is a true athlete. But don't imagine the Eala family as a military boot camp. In that house, sports was taught like a first language. Breakfast came with Federer match videos. Dinner was an analysis of Serena Williams' tactics. No one forced her, but Alexandra understood one thing clearly. If you want to play, you must be the best. She started training every day at age 6, had a private coach at 7, and played at the U12 level when she was only 8. The tennis court near her house wasn't just a place to practice. It was the sanctuary of a dream named, surpassing the shadow of expectation. But here is what many people don't know. Alexandra never complained. While friends her age were hanging out on weekends, she was on the practice court for 6 hours a day. While other children cried over losing a match, Alexandra only said one thing: "I will practice more." And at the 12th minute, it was that very discipline that led her to the most critical decision of her life, leaving the Philippines alone for Spain, with no family, no friends, only her rackets and a 10-year plan. Let's talk about Mallorca. The journey to conquer the world, from Manila to Mallorca. At age 12, for many children, that is the stage of 6th grade math, starting to use smartphones and wondering where to play for the summer. For Alexandra Eala, age 12 was the threshold of destiny, between her homeland and the world. And she chose the world. In 2017, while girls her age were competing for middle school entrance exam prep classes, Alexandra flew alone to Mallorca, Spain, joining the Rafa Nadal Academy. No parents, no friends, only her rackets and a decade-long plan. The Rafa Nadal Academy is no ordinary tennis center. It is a champion molding factory where physical training sessions are so brutal even adults cry, and every tactical analysis session lasts 3 hours in Spanish. Alexandra, a small Asian girl who didn't speak the local language, was a foreign face among hundreds of tall, white athletes. But she did not back down. Coach Daniel Gomez, who has guided many top 100 players, quickly realized this girl is not a prodigy. She is a fighting machine in a school uniform. Eala's morning started at 5:30 a.m., physical training, technical practice, tactical analysis, then academic studies. At 12, she lived like a 25-year-old professional athlete. Within 18 months, Eala exceeded all expectations. She won the Les Petits, as in France, the most prestigious U14 tournament in the world. This achievement immediately sent shockwaves through the professional community. A player from a country with no tennis tradition, never predicted to be excellent, had just defeated a string of players from Europe, the US, and Australia, the top tennis cradles. But the special thing wasn't just the titles. In Mallorca, Alexandra never went home for holidays. She learned Spanish, communicated in English, trained in French, and kept her native Tagalog for video calls with family. She lived in an international world, but never forgot. She came from the Philippines, and she was here to rewrite her country's place on the global tennis map. Translation: I will prove that Asia is not just a tennis consumer market. We produce champions. And she meant it. Historic moments. The Philippines alone on the Grand Slam map. Philippine sports history has many golden pages, but almost no room for women's tennis. Until Alexandra Eala appeared, everything began to change. In 2020, at just 14 years old, Alexandra created her first shockwave at the Junior Australian Open, winning the girls' doubles title with Indonesian player Priska Nugroho. It was the first Grand Slam title for a Filipina player in any category. People called it a random moment. But Alexandra turned randomness into a consistent pattern. In 2021, she won again at the Junior French Open, still in doubles, but this time with Russian partner Oksana Selekhmeteva. And then, in 2022, the unthinkable happened. Alexandra Eala won the Junior U.S. Open Girls Singles title, defeating the strongest names in the ITF rankings. She became the first Filipino to win a Junior Grand Slam Singles title. ESPN wrote, "The small Asian girl, calm and sharp like a spiritual clone of Nadal, is rewriting the structure of women's tennis." But Alexandra didn't stop at the junior level. In 2021, she officially turned professional at only 15. Despite her small frame, Alexandra did not shy away from challenges. She competed in ITF $15,000 and $25,000 tournaments, where most players were at least 4 years older than her. And then came 2025, the year that defined her status on the WTA Tour. At the 2025 Miami Open, Alexandra Eala received a wild card. And as a player outside the top 200, she consecutively defeated Elena Ostapenko, 2017 Roland Garros champion, Madison Keys, former U.S. Open runner-up, and the pinnacle, defeating Iga Swiatek, the current world number 2. That was not just a technical victory. It was a mental revolution. In a match lasting over 2 hours, Alexandra patiently clawed back every point, countered every heavy shot, and defeated Swiatek with Iga's own weapon, mental endurance like steel. She became the first Filipino player in history to defeat a top 10 opponent, and is the only Southeast Asian player to ever do so in the open era of women's tennis. The WTA stage had never seen anyone like her. No noise, no bragging, no fashion scandals. Just calm, steady, and every move calculated like a chess match. Here's the irony. She didn't need to prove anything, but she still did, and she did it cleanly. Playing style and calm attitude. If Nadal is the male version, Eala is the female. In an era where tennis increasingly favors speed, power, and super-fast highlights, Alexandra Eala stands out because she isn't in a hurry. She is not the type of player to burn up the court like Aryna Sabalenka or Coco Gauff. She doesn't rush to hit winners at every opportunity. Instead, Alexandra plays like a warrior who knows how to wait for the right moment. She is reminiscent of the early Rafael Nadal. Every shot has a purpose, every movement like a prearranged symphony. As one of the few left-handed players on the WTA Tour, Alexandra confuses opponents with high-spinning topspin, especially on clay courts. Her forehand isn't as powerful as the top names, but it is extremely grueling, creating high spin and forcing opponents to hit from difficult positions. Alexandra's two-handed backhand is her real weapon. This is what helped her defeat Iga Swiatek, who is famous for her ability to pressure the backhand. She doesn't just defend, she counterattacks. Every cross-court backhand is like a knife cutting deep into the opponent's tactical intentions. Beyond technique, it is her competitive spirit that makes Eala scary. In her match against Madison Keys, when trailing 1-5, she didn't panic. She didn't call her coach. She didn't show frustration. She just tightened her shoelaces and won 6-5 after a series of consecutive breaks. Coaches at the Rafa Nadal Academy call her the chess player on the tennis court. She doesn't need to hit 40 winners per match. She needs one opportunity to make her opponent collapse. And once she grabs the momentum, Alexandra rarely lets go. Alexandra's on-court fashion style also reflects this. No bright colors, no pleated skirts. Usually short shorts, a polo shirt, and a headband, neat, minimalist, and conveying a clear message. I'm not here to perform. I'm here to win. Interestingly, Alexandra learned this skill not just from Nadal, but from her own mother. Ritz once said, "Women can be strong without being loud. You just need to let your skills speak for themselves." And that's exactly what Alexandra does. She lets her racket do the talking. $1 million assets and golden contracts. From a small racket to a billion-dollar icon. Unlike many young athletes who only shine on the court, Alexandra Eala is building a true brand empire. And at age 19, she already owns assets that many only dream of achieving in a lifetime. As of April 2025, Alexandra's total net worth is estimated at approximately $2.84 million, mostly from prize money at WTA tournaments and international sponsorship deals. The 2025 Miami Open alone, where she caused a shockwave with a series of victories over big stars, brought Eala over $330,000 in just 10 days. But the interesting part is, that is not her largest source of income. She is an ambassador for Nike, the powerful sports brand that once bet on Serena Williams, Rafael Nadal, and now Alexandra Eala. Images of Eala wearing Nike, swinging her racket in monochrome sportswear, have appeared on billboards at Nike stores in Manila, Singapore, and Madrid. That isn't just a sponsorship, it is a statement. Asia can dominate the tennis court. Additionally, there is the contract with Babolat, the famous racket brand associated with Nadal's name. Not only does she use them, Alexandra also appears in global campaigns and even has a limited Babolat Eala edition racket line specifically for the Southeast Asian market. At home, she is the face of Globe Telecom, one of the largest telecommunications conglomerates in the Philippines. With her relatable, disciplined, and inspiring image, Alexandra has become a national face, appearing in TVCs, billboards, and CSR campaigns aimed at educating underprivileged children. Eala's appeal doesn't lie in beauty or shocking statements, but in integrity, discipline, and a professionalism rare in a teenager. That is why international brands confidently place long-term bets on her. Forbes Philippines ranked her as one to watch, one of the most influential figures under 30 in the field of sports. And Vogue Philippines dedicated a cover to her with the headline, "From Court to Culture, Alexandra Eala's Rise." No yachts, no billion-dollar supercars, no mansions in the Maldives. Alexandra Eala spends extremely cautiously. She invests in training equipment, hires nutritionists, and takes personal finance courses, something many athletes only think about when they are about to retire. She once shared, "Every dollar I earn is the result of sweat and sacrifice. I won't spend it just to get in the news." And that's the difference. She knows money doesn't define you. How you use IT defines you. Private life and romantic mystery. If someone is by her side, they must be worthy. Alexandra Eala is a rising young sports star, a role model that the media constantly hunts. But if you're looking for romantic scandals, you will be disappointed. She lives so privately that when a photo of her holding hands with a curly-haired young man wearing matching couple bracelets went viral on Twitter in March 2024, people speculated ceaselessly, from a secret boyfriend to an international teammate. But just a few days later, Alexandra posted a simple story. Sometimes it's just a handshake. Chill. That is Alexandra. Clear, intelligent, and not letting her private life become a media tool. However, that doesn't mean her heart has never been stirred. Some sources from the Rafa Nadal Academy, where she trained for many years, revealed that Alexandra once had a special closeness with a Spanish male tennis player, 2 years older than her, who also lived at the academy. They trained together, appeared in many off-court photos, and were once caught sitting close to each other at an outdoor movie screening in Palma. But when asked in a short interview at the 2023 Asian Games, Alexandra only smiled. "I'm dating my racket. It never argues, and it always shows up." However, fans continue to speculate. In October 2024, Alexandra was seen at a private party in Beverly Hills with many celebrities, including a rising star in the Asian entertainment industry, a Korean singer and music producer. Just one photo of the two laughing intimately was enough to make social media explode. But so far, no one has been able to confirm an official relationship. What impresses fans is not just her discretion, but how Alexandra controls her personal image. In an era where everything is exposed, she chooses to keep a safe zone for herself. No TikToks with thirsty dances. No live streams crying about a broken heart. No using her private life to attract more spotlight. Alexandra understands that the more you keep private for yourself, the more sustainable you are. When asked what is most important to her right now, she only said one thing that gave many people pause. The court is honest. It doesn't care who I'm dating. It only reflects how much I've tried. Translation: I don't need to prove anything with scandals. I prove it with victory. And that is why, even without drama, people still cannot take their eyes off her. Now let's talk about what she does when the cameras are off. Life OFF court and spirit of service. The star who doesn't need a stage. When she leaves the court, Alexandra Eala doesn't turn into a diva or a loud influencer. She chooses a quiet but impactful role, a source of inspiration and a community servant. Despite her grueling schedule, Alexandra always makes time to return to the Philippines at least twice a year, not just to visit family, but to meet rural children, organize free tennis clinics, and donate training equipment to schools. In December 2024, she unexpectedly appeared at a small court in Davao, wearing a white t-shirt and a baseball cap, holding an old racket, to teach tennis to nearly 80 children who had never seen a professional player in real life. The event had no media, no film crew, only Alexandra, sweat, and smiles. She once shared in a TEDx talk in Manila, "I don't want to be remembered only for winning. I want a little girl in the countryside to think, if she did it, I can too." Besides sports education, Alexandra also quietly donates to organizations like Feeding Philippines, a non-profit distributing food to poor families. She doesn't post photos of handing out gifts. She only hinted through an Instagram caption. True power is being able to lift others up. Also in 2024, Eala participated in the Green Racket Project, a campaign to reduce plastic at tennis tournaments. She is one of the few WTA athletes who refuses to use single-use plastic water bottles and requested the organizers provide personal flasks. When asked why she cares about the environment, she simply replied, "I don't want the next generation's tennis court to be built on my generation's plastic waste." Furthermore, Alexandra is very concerned with education. After graduating high school at the Rafa Nadal Academy, she continued studying sports psychology and early childhood education online at a Spanish university. She once said, "I want to be able to coach later, not just skills, but also the spirit." For this reason, Alexandra is not only called an outstanding young player, but also a future leader. She represents a new generation of athletes, professional skills, kind to the community, and humble in success. In an increasingly commercialized sports world, Alexandra Eala stands out because she doesn't try to stand out. And that's precisely why she stands out. Contradiction? No. Strategy. Ambition and legacy at age 19. At age 19, Alexandra Eala has reached heights that many athletes never dream of in a lifetime. But the most incredible thing is not the titles, not the money, nor the victories over top stars. It is her calm, her gentleness, and the attitude that makes everyone believe. She doesn't need to be known, as long as she can contribute. When asked about her goals for the next 10 years, Alexandra didn't mention Grand Slams, nor did she mention the WTA Top 10. She only replied, "I want to be the kind of player that children watch and say, she never gives up." That is the legacy she is building. Not a gold-plated monument, but a flame of inspiration. A girl born in Quezon City, with sports blood in her veins, growing up amidst sweat and sacrifice, and step by step turning dreams into reality. A new icon of Philippine sports. No need for scandals, no need for gimmicks. Just the truth and perseverance. Alexandra Eala is not just the future of Asian tennis. She is living proof that if you are industrious enough, honest enough, and don't give up, you can reach the world. But here is what many people don't realize. Alexandra doesn't play to prove anything. She plays because it is right, and because those children out there are watching. At age 19, Alexandra doesn't say much. But every shot, every time she rises after defeat, every silence amidst the noise, echoes like a statement. I'm here to play my best. For the rest, let history record it. And history is watching. Trust me. The power of the one who needs to prove nothing. Alexandra Eala might not be the strongest player. She might not have the biggest serve. She might not always win every tournament. But she is the embodiment of what modern sports is missing. Resilience that doesn't need a stage. She doesn't appear to please social media. She doesn't play to be called an Asian star. She fights because it is right and because those children out there are watching. At age 19, Alexandra doesn't say much. But every shot, every time she rises after defeat, every silence amidst the noise, echoes like a statement. I'm here to play my best. For the rest, let history record it. If you think the Alexandra Eala story is inspiring, then the next character will challenge your definition of success. A young man who has never won a Grand Slam, has no million-dollar contracts, but is called by the ADP the most genius mind of the generation. He is the tactical strategist behind Carlos Alcaraz's Wimbledon victory, the youngest coach to ever reach the world top 50. Yet, he has never played professionally. You might not know his name yet, but after the next video, you will be unable to forget. Subscribe to the Pro Tennis 360 channel right now to not miss this exclusive profile on the tennis genius standing in the shadows. And leave a comment. Whose story do you want us to tell next? We don't do news. We do history. And Alexandra Eala? She is only just beginning to write the first chapter.